Kingdom of Night is one of those rare games that instantly pulls you straight back into the 80s. As an Arizona kid who grew up hearing stories about Travis Walton, UFO sightings, and the legend of the Lost Dutchman's gold mine hidden somewhere in the Superstition Mountains, this game hit me on a completely different level. I sat down planning to play for 3 to 4 hours, and instead I wound up playing for almost 12 hours straight, all the way until 3 in the morning. Today we're going to go hands-on with Kingdom of Night, its world, its combat, its nostalgia, and why it feels like Stranger Things with an Arizona twist. Let's throw on the denim jacket, crank up the synths, and step into the story and presentation. Kingdom of Night takes place in an alternate 1987 deep in the quiet desert town of Miami, Arizona. You play as John, a teenager whose world flips upside down when his neighbor, in my case hilariously named Michaela, is suddenly abducted by a demonic creature that bursts straight through her bedroom floor. And that shocking moment is just the beginning. A satanic cult has accidentally unleashed the ancient evil Baphomet, turning this mining town into a hellish battleground filled with monsters, corrupted locals, demonic generals, and a growing sense of dread. It blends coming-of-age emotion with cosmic horror in a way that immediately reminded me of Stranger Things, The Goonies, and the darker supernatural stories that defined the 1980s. You'll see references to Travis Walton, whom I've actually met before, the Lost Dutchman's gold mine, and the Peralta stone maps, things every Arizona kid grew up hearing about. It's rare to see a game pull our state's mythology into its narrative with this much style and respect, but Kingdom of Night does it beautifully. Visually, the pixel art is gorgeous. The character portraits and dialogue boxes have that modern retro charm that you'd see in a game that I just reviewed, Kingdoms of the Dump, or something like Shovel Knight. But what really surprised me is that the surface map isn't the only map. Kingdom of Night also gives you a massive underground world, a full second layer beneath the town filled with tunnels, sewers, hidden shops, new NPCs, crafting spots, shortcuts, lore, and entire quest lines of its own. Very reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And then there's the soundtrack, and this is where the emotional 80s nostalgia hits the hardest. My favorite Rocky movie, without question, is Rocky IV, and it isn't even close. I was born the same year it released in 1985, and I still listen to that soundtrack consistently. So when I learned that the composer of Rocky IV, Vince DiCola, created the main theme for this game, I honestly couldn't believe it. I felt like the stars had aligned. Hearing his unmistakable synth style over this supernatural 80s Arizona adventure elevated the entire experience. Alright Stash fam, lace up your Reeboks, it's time to jump into the gameplay and controls. Kingdom of Night is an isometric action RPG built around exploration, combat, quest, and deep character customization. From the moment you step into the world, you're free to explore at your own pace. You can take on side quests, wander into high-level areas if you dare, or follow the main story across both the surface map and the sprawling underground network. Combat feels responsive and punchy. You start by choosing between melee and magic, and then you pick your class. I chose a melee build and immediately had the choice between Knight, Barbarian, and Rogue. I went with Barbarian, and the depth of the skill tree genuinely surprised me. Each class has multiple branches of abilities, and when you reach level 10, you unlock advanced archetypes like Berserker, Outlaw, or Warrior that completely change your playstyle. You've got your inventory, your map, your quest, a notebook that breaks down all of your stats, and a keychain system that lets you equip small bonuses. Stats like muscle, guts, and wits affect everything from combat to available dialogue options, and I love that certain dialogue paths are only available if you invest it in wits. And yes, If you ever want to respec your character, you can do that too. The fast travel system is also fantastic. You meet Karan, the ferryman of the River Styx, who runs an underworld transit network beneath the town. And it's such a cool 80s meets mythology twist, and it makes navigating between regions fast and thematic. Now, let's walk, run, and occasionally panic sprint into pacing and challenge. Kingdom of Night has great pacing right from the opening scene. You start with typical teen drama, bullies in the gym, a secret house party, detention after school, and then the supernatural chaos hits hard and suddenly. The game balances moments of humor, exploration, storytelling, and combat incredibly well. Difficulty ramps steadily, but the game gives you real freedom. If you choose to explore places you're not ready for, you'll find out quickly, but it never feels unfair. Boss fights like the Werewolf and Beelzebub are intense, cinematic, and rewarding, often giving you powerful loot and stat boosts that feel worth the effort. Let's slide in now to the content and who this game is really made for. Kingdom of Night is shockingly content-rich. Not only are you exploring the entire town of Miami, Arizona, but you're also navigating a full underground world beneath it. That underworld is packed with secrets, hidden shops for FOS recruits, which you'll find out who the FOS is in the game, crafting stations, NPCs, an entire homeless encampment center with its own upgrade system, and story events that expand the lore of the game. You get a full campaign, tons of side quests, optional bosses, a deep loot system, multi-branch skill trees, class evolutions, and there's even local co-op, which means you can play through the game with a friend and combine your character builds for some awesome synergy. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, Earthbound, Shovel Knight, Diablo, Kingdoms of the Dump, or those classic 80s supernatural adventure movies, you're going to love this. Retro gamers will love this, modern gamers will love this, ARPG fans will love it, and if you're from Arizona, this is basically a love letter to our state's weird history and folklore. As of launch, Kingdom of Night releases first on PC. Publicly available information confirms that console versions are planned for Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox at a later date, so hopefully that's something we can look forward to here in 2026. Now, let's spin the cassette and talk about the fun factor. And Kingdom of Night is just pure addictive fun again. You can't play till 3 in the morning unless you're having a really good time. It just has that one more quest energy and then just one more hour until you realize you are way past your bedtime and you might screw up your sleep schedule. The different classes and archetypes give this game a lot of replay value, and the combination of surface and underground exploration makes every playthrough feel different. Local co-op also adds replayability for people who want to tackle the story alongside someone else, and the humor, secrets, and different builds all make this a game you can easily come back to. Alright, cue the soft synth pad, let's talk legacy. Kingdom of Night feels like a passion project built by people who love the 80s. The music, the movies, the culture, and who love Arizona enough to weave our stories directly into the world. The creativity, the lore, the atmosphere, the humor, and the depth of the systems all point to a team that absolutely poured their hearts into this game, and it can be felt. I expect that when this releases on consoles, it's going to do very well and could easily become one of those indie cult classics that people talk about for years. It blends nostalgia and innovation in a way that feels honestly refreshing. Alright friends, now it's time for my final thoughts. I'm juggling a lot of reviews and embargoes right now, especially heading into the end of the year, but Kingdom of Night grabbed me in a way that games rarely do. Again, I sat down planning to play for 3 to 4 hours, and instead I ended up going nearly 12 hours straight, all the way until 3 in the morning. And honestly, it's because this game hits so many things I personally love. 80s storytelling, emotional coming-of-age moments, supernatural mystery, real Arizona folklore, and a soundtrack tied to my all-time favorite Rocky movie. What surprised me most though is just how big this game is. You're not just exploring a full Arizona town, you're exploring an entire underworld beneath it. 2 full maps, huge demon lairs, deep class systems, ton of secrets, great writing, and a story that's far more emotional than you'd expect from a retro-style action RPG. And the wild part? The whole experience is $20. $20 for a game this massive, this heartfelt, and this well crafted honestly feels like a steal. I've paid triple that price for games with half the content, and I know you have too. Kingdom of Night is one of those indie games that over-delivers in every category, and it reminded me once again why indie developers are some of the best storytellers in gaming today. Kingdom of Night absolutely gets my full Thunderstruck recommendation. This game is special, and I truly cannot wait for console players to experience it when those versions arrive. And if you have PC, I would say dive in as soon as you can. If you love 80s nostalgia, supernatural adventure, or deep RPG systems, this one is absolutely worth picking up. If you enjoyed this review, please make sure to like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment below letting me know if you're picking up Kingdom of Night. And don't forget, you can catch me every Wednesday night on the Nintendo Byte podcast with Nintendo Prime, Gamebird Classic, and Eric Moore, where we talk all things Nintendo Switch 2 with new and reoccurring guests every week. And as always, remember, you're never too old to play video games.